Hello lovely sewing friends, I hope you guys are doing well. So we are a couple of weeks, I think like today's the 7th, 8th, I think, I don't know, it changes every day. Anyway, a couple of weeks out from Christmas. So number one, have I got all my Christmas sewing done? No. Number two, will I get all my Christmas sewing done? I don't know, but one thing that I have been working on this morning, especially this morning, because yesterday this is when you always do a toile. Always do a toile. Always do a toile. Annie, right here and now, always do a toile, because this is what happens, right? So I finished making these shorts, right? I have a very busy week coming up, so I only had today, because today is Sunday, I've got to remember that, to make these pair of shorts, because I'm releasing a sewing pattern for them, and I wanted to make sure they're all done in the final fabric. So of course, I've done plenty of toiles before, but I didn't do them in my size. I did them in like a size 10 to make sure that everything added up correctly, and it does. But then I was like, oh, I need to make some in my size for the photos, for the reels, for all the advertising material, all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't do a toile of them in my size. So I made them up, right? And they were gorgeous. I did all the top stitching, all the overlocking, all the elastic insertion and everything. Turns out I did them a size, 2 sizes too big, right? So it looked like I was wearing baggy pants when I was supposed to be wearing nicely fitted, elasticated waistband shorts. So what I've had to do is snip off quite a lot of excess, but like they also look like a calico in this photo, but they are a gorgeous heavyweight cotton canvas, and they're gorgeous. I've always wanted a pair of pants, shorts in this style and this color and whatnot. But also I've done like little sneaky details, like doing like chartreuse edge stitching on the pocket there. So basically they are a pair of elasticated waistbanded high waist shorts. Like obviously I'm terrible at these kinds of things, but they have pockets. They have big pockets as well. Look, I can fit my glasses case, my scissors. What else do I have in arm's reach? My tracing wheel. There's a reel coming out about using a tracing wheel in the future. I want to see how many things I can fit in this, but you know, you never know when you're going to need a glue stick. But look at that, all in there, plenty of room to spare. So big pockets, big pockets. I put my hand in them and I could go like that. So good size pockets. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing this morning. Also, so this is the shorts. I'm getting sidetracked, but we know how these videos go by now. So these are the shorts. This is going to be the pants, right? So longer pants, like ankle length. They're going to be gorgeous. And I will do a toile for the long pants. I will do a toile for the long pants. Annie, you will do a toile for the long pants. Maybe. But anyway, we are getting up close to Christmas. Also, it's my sister's hens weekend next weekend. And my mum's coming to stay with me from Wednesday onwards. And I'm working for the next 3 nights in a row. So I have no time to myself until like next Thursday, maybe. So speaking of that, saying that I have no time to myself, I also need to get on with a bunch of sewing before then. And if I can quickly find it, I cannot, but I have a vision of this gorgeous gathered top. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my basic t-shirt, shameless plug right there, with my little cowboy hat on it. I am wanting to create this vision of a dress. You know when you just have it in your mind's eye and it's like right there and you're just like, I want to make it. I want to make it right now. But I also need to find the fabric for it, which is around there somewhere. But anyway, it's this gorgeous sheared, similar to this one, you know, lots of shearing across there. So let me just like this. See, I would wear this to my sister's hens, but you may have noticed It's white. So I don't think that's going to really run well for a hen's weekend, especially for my sister. So we're just going to pop that to one side for now. But as backup dresses, I do have this beautiful little pink number, and I'm going to wear it, and it's going to be so pretty, and I'm going to look so pretty, and it's going to be so pretty. Haha. Okay, so this is the fabric, right? It's a cotton, but it looks like that like porcelain kind of style, Delft style tiles and stuff. I got this like 2 years ago, and I really want to make like a gorgeous, like, you know, like, woo. So when I will have the time to do that, I don't know, maybe like 3 a.m. in the morning, the night before I leave to go to my sister's hens. But that is not here nor there. The word on the street is I have no time to sew, which you may relate to. So I have been sewing for 20 years this Christmas, right? I got my first ever sewing machine this Christmas 20 years ago. So I've been asked in multiple stages of that 20 years, as you will too, sew something for somebody else, right? Now, sewing is an amazing life skill, and one that we have only grown in numbers in the sewing community over the past 20 years that I know of. Just goes to show, I'm currently at like 825,000 followers on Instagram. So like, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but if you are a new sewer like I was 20 years ago, just know that sewing is your hobby. It is for you and you alone. It is amazing that you can share it with other people, but know that you do not have to. If it is your hobby, it is for you to enjoy, right? Spiel over. There are a couple of things that I have used in these 20 years to help you out that I've kind of like accumulated from a bunch of different things. There's also another really good sewing Instagram account called Can You Sew This For Me? So funny. So funny. People just like send in messages, seem like sewists from around the world, send in like messages of being like, I got asked to make this, and in return they would give me a high five. And it's just like, do you not know how long it takes to sew that ball gown Bridgerton dress? Like, duh. Anyway, so my first encounter with Can You Sew This For Me comes normally from family and friends, right? So expect it from close to you, right? So when I was living at home, my parents would ask me to like hem something or do this or do that. And because I was living at home somewhat rent-free or subsidized rent, I was like, yes, of course, I will sew that for you. Thank you so much for the hot water and power and roof over my head and food and everything. So typically, if I was living in somebody's house rent-free, essentially, I tended to sew for them. The one scenario, this is when my sister was dressing up for a Taylor Swift themed party. No jokes, 2 days before she came to me, she's like, hey Annie, can you please sew this costume for me? And I said, girl, I'm in the middle of my exams. No. And then the answer I did eventually give was, I will help you sew this for yourself, because I'm not going to sit there for hours on end sewing something for you when you can learn to do it yourself. And normally in other circumstances, when I've used the whole, I'm not going to sew this for you, I can help you sew it for yourself, or I can teach you how to sew it for yourself. Also, I can direct you towards some really good online resources, which is me. But if you say, oh, I'll teach you how to sew, or I'll show you these good references, normally people leave it at that. But with my sister, it ended up being, she was trying to use my sewing machine the night before she had to have this costume done, and I kept on going over being like, no, like, you don't use that stitch length, you use this stitch length, and no, you've done this wrong, and da-da-da. And then I eventually ended up making it for her. She got me a 12 pack of Ferrero Rocher. Good on her. I cannot stand Ferrero Rocher anymore because I ate 12 in one night, so story time. Anyway, so if my parents or my sister asked me, usually because they were in close proximity to me, I just did it. Now, moving on, when I was working at a fabric shop, I would have customers ask me to sew stuff for them all the time. Now, I would always, the thing that has always served me well in any situation, regardless, is thank you so much for thinking of me. Currently, I only sew for myself, but I can direct you towards other people who do it professionally. That is a really good one because, first of all, you're saying no. Secondly, you're saying it is your hobby. Thirdly, you're giving them resources. So that's always a good one to keep in the back of your pocket. Another one, like point blank, is just say no. No, I don't sew for other people, thank you. Like, people can get quite pushy and they're like, oh, I'll pay you like $40 to, make this dress for me. And once you start thinking about it, you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me hours. And also, if sewing is your hobby that you do for yourself, it's great that you can do it for other people. However, I'm just talking to the people that just do it for a hobby. This is another thing that I learned. You do not have to monetize your hobbies for them to be accepted. Oh my God, I actually think I need to write that one down because that is mind blown. Because so many times I have been told to monetize my hobby. My paintings. Like, I've been told I should sell my paintings. No, I love my paintings because they're my paintings. I do not have to monetize my hobbies to make them acceptable. I like my hobbies for my hobbies. Also, in saying that, I love to roller skate. I'm not good at it. And also, you do not have to be good at your hobbies for you to enjoy them. You do not. If you enjoy doing something, do it for the enjoyment of that thing rather than what other people see value in it. Oh my God, this is like existential crisis because I've been going through it today because it's the end of year reflection. I'm like, oh my gosh. But you do not have to monetize your hobbies for them to be acceptable by other people. So like, if you enjoy, like, I love doing cross stitch and embroidery. And that's because I love doing it. It makes me so happy. I love the motion of it. I love the process of it. And I also love the end result. And that is for me. Now, in saying that, I have also sewn as a professional seamstress for other people. I sewed for my keeper for a long time. She paid me very well. And it was a joy to work for her. And that was a great income for me when I chose to do it. So working professionally as a seamstress is very different from somebody, your neighbor asking, oh, do you mind? Da, 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 da. And it's all case by case base because every situation is different. For example, I'm sewing a bunch of stuff for some people that I work with, like just patching and make, do and repair and everything, which is brilliant. And they said, oh, how much do you think it's going to do these 5-10 things? It was actually like 5-6 things. And I was like, oh, like 100. And she was amazed at how cheap it was. And it's like, oh shit, I could have gone a bit higher there. But I'll tell you what, I learned. I knew about this technique, but I haven't put it into practice, and I'll show you, right? So I fixed these jeans for my friend at work. Look, I did that back and forth stitching. I usually do that by hand, but I just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then on the inside, there's like a little patch there. I think I got some thread stuck in there at some point, but it doesn't matter because I make, do, and mend. And now she can wear these jeans. Isn't that brilliant? So There are situations where you can get something out of it by being paid, or somebody watching your kids, or somebody painting the roof of your house for fun, you know? This is another thing. With sewing, because it is seen as a hobby, which it is a hobby, sorry, that baby bunny ears, there we go. Because it is seen as a hobby, people often do not monetary compensate for it. For example, if you had a friend who was a chef, you would, I would hope, maybe this is a wake-up call for you, we'll see. If you have a friend who was a chef, you would never say to them, hey, do you mind coming round to my house and cooking me 7 days worth of food, and I'll be really grateful for it. The chef would be like, no, like, that is something that I do and I get paid to do it. I'm not doing it for free just because you're my friend. Because you're my friend, you should actually value me for my skills and notice how much love and effort I put into my food. Therefore, you should want to pay me. So, but because it's sewing, people, and it's considered a hobby, people do not value it as something that should be monetarily compensated for. So as a rule of thumb, if somebody says to me, oh, do you like, if my neighbor said to me, hey, do you mind repairing this pair of pants? Or my neighbor downstairs asked me to repair a cushion of his. And like, yes, it was an easy job, but I took the time out to do it. I matched all the thread, I did. And also this, you need to value your skill. You need to value your skill because you have a skill that other people want. And you should be able to benefit from that. And if they pay you monetarily, that's great. I've also had many friends and family members give me something else. Like, for example, I have these gorgeous pair of earrings that I wear all the time. They're in all my passport, well, they're in my most recent passport photo because I didn't have them when I was like 13 when I had my previous passport photo, but I had them when I was like 21 and I had my other most recent passport photo. And I love these little clay earrings. You'll see me wearing them all the time. They're in a lot of my stuff because I wear them all the time. But I have these little earrings that I got from a gorgeous maker, pottery maker, ceramicist. I got from a gorgeous ceramicist in exchange for a bucket hat. And it's gorgeous because I messaged her, I'm like, hey, I really love your stuff. Like, can I actually exchanged them for got the hiccups. I only just had lunch and it's nearly 5 o'clock. But I exchanged them for some of her work. And then I remember I then bought some more stuff from her, which were the earrings. And then I bought another bowl from her. And then what else did I do? I actually went to see her before I left New Zealand to come to Melbourne. And I made her the most gorgeous jumper. It was in an ochre because like she lives in the mountains and it's very earthy and very tonal. And I see photos on Instagram of her still wearing that jumper. And it was kind of like, hey, can I come and see you and see your pottery and all your lovely stuff? And she was like, yes, of course, like no problem. And like, I remember when we got like some wine or something that night, I paid for it and I paid for our lunches and stuff. And so there is a happy give and take, but the issue is when somebody feels entitled to access your hobby for their own gain. That's where I have a problem, and that's when I get very defensive of sewists who can't stand up for themselves in that area because I have been there and felt very undervalued for my skill. So, yeah, if this is another good thing, like if somebody says like, hey, can you reupholster a couch for me? And you're just like working on pencil cases, and this is really good. So there's two things you can do in this scenario. Because I have been asked to do upholstery and I'm just like I can make a t-shirt, I can't make a fucking couch cover. Like, they're two different things. So also when you get asked to make like bridal gowns, you're just like, thank you for trusting me that much. I wouldn't trust me that much. I would never, I didn't even offer to make my own bridesmaid's dress for my sister's wedding because I was just like, I know I'm not gonna be doing that. So goodbye. I did offer to do all the alterations though, so that's something. Wedding present for my sister. I'll alter the dress that I will be wearing to your wedding. There we go. Anyway, 2 things you can do for this person that will not leave you alone, who wants you to do something sewing wise for them. Number 1, offer them an outrageously overpriced sum to do that work for them. For example, hey, can you please hem my jeans? No, thank you. I only sew for myself. Thank you for thinking of me. Here are some professionals. Oh, but I really want you to hem my jeans. No, thank you. I really don't want to hem your jeans. Here are some professionals instead. Oh, it would be really quick. It's so easy. You've already got the sewing machine. You've got all the skills to do it. You can do it. No, I really don't want to do it. Here you go. Here are my jeans. You can sew my jeans. And I'd be like, okay, I'll sew your jeans, but it's going to cost you $500. And they'll be like, excuse me? And you're just like, yeah, go to this person I said you should go to in the first place, and they'll charge you $30. And more often than likely, they will go to the professional and pay $30. Or if you're very lucky, they'll pay you $500. You take it to the professional and you pocket the $470. Win-win. The other option, and I've done this with my sister before, and I'm not even pressed that I've done this before to my sister. I will say, yes, I will sew that dress for you, but you can either pay me what I am worth and do like how much you think it's worth for you and your time and skill and whatever. You can pay me however much you think it's worth, or I do it in my own time. And that could, for me, my mom said, can you please sew this dress for me? It's been 3 years. It's not even cut up yet. I'll tell you why, because I have other things that I want to do. I have other things I want to sew. I have whales to stuff, right? So they can either pay you what you're worth and you get some money out of it, or you do it in your own time, but just know that that could be a couple of years. And usually they'll drop it. But yeah, that's predominantly my go-tos when people say, oh, can you sew this for me? If it's a quick, easy job and I know I can do it, like for example, a girl at my work, she ripped her favorite pants in the crotch. It was a pair of tights. And I was like, I already know for a fact that my overlocker's already got the colors for that project. I'm gonna whiz it up. It was like this much and I just overlocked it. I could have held my breath for longer than it took me to fix that. And she gave me an ice cream for it and I was like, boom, solid deal, done. But then there are other people who expect you to do above and beyond for them and not get anything in return. I guess this is a good kind of like way to like vet the people around you, those who value your skill and your time and those that don't. And the people that don't, bye-bye, go to a professional like I told you the first time. Anyway, I will wrap this up. Because if you're watching this late at night and you thought there was going to be like a 5-minute video, it's not, it's like going to be like 25 minutes. So you're welcome and you can go to bed after this. But, yeah, I hope these pants are finished very soon. I hope that these get toiled and I hope that I eventually wear this fabric that's been in my stash for 2 years. So, and I hope you guys have a lovely week and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.